New Concept Video Sports presents high school videos like no other video media outlet in Northwest Indiana. We support our student athletes by offering all of our sports videos for free download 2 weeks following their posting. And this evening, it's the Wheeler Bearcats who will host the Whiting Oilers in this Greater South Shore Conference showdown. Whiting head coach Jeff Kane, in his 24 years in the top spot, has seen some good years and bad in his tenure, but mostly good. Since 2012, this powerhouse on the lake has compiled a 54-8 record and have not lost 2 games in a row since 2010, when they were defeated by South Central Union Mills and these Wheeler Bearcats. But this season, the Oilers came out of the gate with a win, before losses to Griffith, who was playing well, and Boone Grove in a tough loss on the lake shore. The Wheeler Bearcats, under first-year head coach Adam Hudak, come into tonight's action 2-1, with wins over River Forest and Hammond Knoll and a loss to Kankakee Valley in Week 2. Adam Hudak, a Lowell Red Devil grad, came over to the Bearcats from Lake Station, where he was an assistant and head coach the past 2 seasons. Hudak takes over for Dan Klimzak, who has been the head man here at Wheeler since 2006. Coach Hudak wants to bring back that winning tradition to this rural Porter County school, and he thinks he has the talent to do so. We would like to thank our sponsors for making tonight's game and your free download possible. Doctors Tim and Lisa Mullally of Crown Point, the law office of Roy Dominguez in Maryville, J&J's Pizza Shack, and their 7 Northwest Indiana locations. Oak Partners Wealth and Retirement Management in Crown Point and Valparaiso. And Blythe's Athletics in Valparaiso, where the athlete shops. Enjoy the game. It's great to be here at Wheeler High School on this late summer evening that feels like fall, and waiting for the Nino Barbosa kickoff for the Whiting Oilers. That was grabbed at the 17-yard line by Bryce Catherman, and he carried up to the 31, and that's where the Bearcats will begin play offensively. The Bearcats, as do the Oilers, play out of the Wildcat most of the time, and taking the first snap for the home team was Peyton Hinkle, and he picked up 4 yards on the carry. On 2nd and 6, it was junior Nathan Leduc taking the snap, then powering his way up the gut for a Wheeler first down, up to the 43-yard line before being dragged down by Emiliano Rodriguez. It was right back to Peyton Hinkle, and on his second effort carried the ball inside Whiting territory, down to the 46-yard line. Then it was Nathan Leduc on the 4.5-yard carry, and a second and about 5.5 yards to go. From the 42-yard line, the ball was snapped to Bryce Catherman, who then handed it off to Peyton Hinkle, but sniffing out the play initially was Dylan White. Then dropping him for a loss on the play was junior John Bach. Now on 3rd and 9 for the Bearcats, it was Peyton Hinkle rolling to his left, then tossing a short pass to Jacob Strausbach for a gain of about 4, and a big 4th down next up for Adam Hudak and the Bearcats. So Wheeler decided to make a 4th down attempt from the 41-yard line of Whiting with 4 yards to go to move the chains. On the snap, it was Nathan Leduc, and following a barrage of blockers, was able to turn the corner and carry for a big first down early in this contest with a ball at the Whiting 30-yard line. Then on first down, Peyton Hinkle carried for a nice Bearcat gainer. But a Wheeler penalty, a block in the back, will move the ball back to the 33-yard line. And now the home team will replay first down with about 14 yards to go for a first. This time it was Bryce Catherman with the snap, and he targeted Bishop Palazzotto downfield. But the pass fell incomplete, and a nice defensive play by Nino Barbosa. So on 2nd and long, it was Nathan Leduc up the middle for a short gainer. Then on 3rd and 11, a play that worked to perfection when Nathan Leduc took the snap, then handed the ball to Sam Turpin, who then pitched the ball to Bryce Catherman, and he let it fly. And there, all alone in the end zone, was Bishop Palazzotto, and a nice way for the Wheeler Bearcats to open play on this cool Friday evening. The Russell Moritz extra point was good. So with 7:21 left in the first period of play, the Bearcats lead the Oilers by 7. The Wheeler kickoff was grabbed at the 17-yard line by Christian Carroll, and a nice run back. But on the play, an Oiler holding penalty. So Whiting will have their first offensive opportunity from their own 19-yard line. So on 1st and 10 and taking the snap for the Oilers, it was Nino Barbosa out of the shotgun, and he carried for 9 yards on his first attempt, and a 2nd and short next up. Then it was Tom Davenport taking the handoff for a couple yards, but enough to move the chains for the Oilers, and a 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. It was back to Davenport for a couple, and a 2nd and 8 next up. Next, it was Dylan White getting in on the action, and he took it down to the Wheeler 38 before Bryce Catherman made the stop. On 1st down, inside Bearcat territory, it was Nino Barbosa on the keeper, and a nice defensive stop by the Bearcats. Then on 2nd and 10, it was power back Tom Davenport on the carry, and while he was being dropped, lost control of the ball. That was picked up by Peyton Hinkle, and he headed in the other direction, and was finally dropped at the Whiting 33-yard line by who else but Nino Barbosa. And the Wheeler Bearcats are back in business. So now on 1st and 10 for the Bearcats, and out of the Wildcat again, it was Bryce Catherman on the carry for 4 yards, down to the 29. Next, it was Nathan Leduc down to the 18, and a fresh set of downs for the Wheeler Bearcats. Then it was Peyton Hinkle heading right. Then breaking a tackle, Peyton started out in the other direction, making something out of nothing for some positive yards. For the Bearcats on 2nd and 1 from the 9-yard line, it was Nathan Leduc up the middle and resetting the chains for the Wheeler Bearcats. From the 6-yard line on 1st and goal, it was Nathan Leduc in for the touchdown. And with 2:44 left in the first period, the Wheeler Bearcats have dominated thus far and lead the Whiting Oilers by 14. The Bearcat kickoff was grabbed at the 17-yard line by Christian Carroll, who carried to the 40, and that's where the Oilers will take over offensively. On 1st down, it was Nino Barbosa on the keeper, maybe for a yard before being dropped by Andrew Murray. Before the next snap, a false start penalty on the Oilers moved the ball to the 36, and now Whiting is looking at a 2nd and 14. The snap this time went to Barbosa, who handed the ball to Tom Davenport, and he carried to the 41. Now the visitors are looking at a 3rd and 9. It was Davenport up to the 45, but short of the sticks and an Oiler punt. The Oiler punt was down at the 27-yard line, and that's where the Bearcats will take over with 26 seconds left in the first. On 1st down, Bryce Catherman took the snap. Then on the reverse, handed the ball to Jacob Strausbaugh for a nice gainer up to the 46, and that will end the first period of play, with the Whiting Oilers trailing the Wheeler Bearcats by 14. Back in 40 seconds. Blythe's Athletics in Valparaiso, whose team has been serving your team since 1959, is a leader in athletic apparel and equipment sales. Whether it's off the rack or customized to your specifications, Blythe's has the products and staff to serve you best. Trophies, embroidering, screen printing, athletic shoes, anything you're looking for, you'll find at Blythe's. Visit them today at teamblythes.com, where the athlete shops. Located in Maryville, the law office of Roy Dominguez offers compassionate, caring representation in personal injury and criminal defense. If you or someone you love has been injured, you can be sure the law office of Roy Dominguez will help alleviate some of the difficulties you are facing. Attorney Roy Dominguez wishes all Northwest Indiana athletes the best of luck this season. To open second quarter action, the Wheeler Bearcats have a 1st and 10 from the Whiting 46-yard line and already leading by 14. On the 1st down snap, it was Bryce Catherman, and he fired one downfield intended for Jonah Lucido that fell incomplete, and a 2nd down next up. On 2nd down and again out of the Wildcat, it was Nathan Leduc, and he was able to cut it up the middle for a nice gainer inside Whiting territory down to the 40-yard line. It was Leduc again, but this time he was stripped of the ball by John Bach, a technique the Oilers practiced in pregame warm-ups. Fortunately for the Bearcats, the ball was recovered by Sam Turpin. So on 2nd and 6, it was Peyton Hinkle's turn, and he cut it upfield for a short gainer. And now Wheeler is looking at a 3rd and about 5. It was back to Hinkle, but nothing doing and a loss of a yard on the play. And now the Bearcats are looking at a 4th and 6. On the snap, it was Bryce Catherman dropping back, then targeting Jacob Strasbaugh, who made a great catch on the deflection, and somehow came down with the ball on the 1-yard line with Nino Barbosa all over him. But unfortunately, this time for the Bearcats, a holding penalty will negate the play and move the ball back to near the midfield stripe at the 48, and Wheeler will have to punt. But the play was worth another look. The Wheeler punt was grabbed at the 14-yard line by Nino Barbosa, and he weaved through the Bearcat defenders and down to the 36-yard line before being slung out of bounds by Peyton Hinkle. A big turn of events for these two teams over the past 2 plays. Now from the Wheeler 36, the Oilers have a 1st and 10. This time the snap went to Stephen Conley in the quarterback position, and the handoff attempt to Tom Davenport was mishandled. But falling on the ball to retain possession was Conley, and now the Oilers have a 2nd and 14. From the 40, it was Nino Barbosa taking the snap, and during the handoff got his feet tangled with Tom Davenport. But somehow the winding back was able to keep his balance and carry the ball to the original line of scrimmage, bringing up a 3rd and 10. This time for the Oilers, a clean handoff to Davenport, and a huge hole to line open for the 245-pound junior back, who carried down to the 24 before a gallant tackle by 177-pound Whiting senior Jacob Strasbaugh, possibly saving a touchdown. This time a more traditional Nino Barbosa to Tom Davenport handoff, and the strength of this back powered his way to the 16 before disappearing in a sea of athletes, and a 2nd and 3 coming up. But before the next snap, an encroachment penalty on the Bearcats will give the Oilers a fresh set of downs at the 11. On the 1st down play, it was Davenport for a couple. Then on 2nd and 8 from the 9-yard line, it was Tom Davenport walking into the end zone for the Oilers' first score of the evening. Next, a 2-point attempt that was no good. The Bearcats lead the Whiting Oilers by 8. The kickoff was caught by Bryce Catherman at the far side of the field, and he carried up to the 31 before slipping on the turf, and that's where the Bearcats will take over offensively. On 1st down and out of the Wildcat again, it was Peyton Hinkle on the carry for 6 before slipping at the 37-yard line. It was Hinkle again, this time in the other direction, and he was able to move the chains on a 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. This time the snap went to Nathan Leduc, and he swept the near sideline for a big gain inside Whiting territory down to the 25-yard line. But on the play, a holding penalty on the Bearcats will negate the run. There was also a penalty on Whiting for a sideline infraction, but Wheeler will have to try again, this time from their own 37, and 1st down and a bunch. So on 1st and 17, the ball was snapped to Peyton Hinkle, who handed the ball to Bryce Catherman, and on the reverse he picked up some nice yardage inside Oiler territory at the 48, and now the Bearcats are looking at a 2nd and short. Next, it was Nathan Leduc on the call for no gain. Then on 3rd and short, a bad snap and a loss on the play back to the 47-yard line. And now decision time again for Coach Hudak and the Bearcats. So on 4th and 6, Wheeler will make another attempt at a 1st down. On the snap, the ball went to Peyton Hinkle, and what looked like a screen pass that never developed, Hinkle could not escape the pursuit of Thomas Knight, and a loss on the play, and plenty of time for the Oilers to score before the half. On 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line, a direct snap to Tom Davenport, and he carried to the 25 to reset the chains, with a $1:43 left in the period. It was back to Davenport, down to the 20. But before the next snap, a procedure call on Whiting will move the ball back to the 25. And now the Oilers are looking at a 2nd and 10. This time it was Barbosa zigzagging his way to the 20-yard line. So now on 3rd and 5, it was Davenport for a couple. So now Whiting will make a 4th and 2 attempt from the 17-yard line with 40 seconds to play in the half. It was Davenport picking up the yardage needed to reset the chains. And now a 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line for the visitor. It was Davenport again, this time for a short gainer down to the 11. And now the Oilers are looking at a 2nd and about 7. Then following a Whiting timeout, and before the next snap, a Wheeler encroachment call will move the ball to the 6-yard line. And now the Oilers are looking at a 2nd and 2. Next, a little confusion. Davenport took the snap and carried to the 4 in what was believed to be a 1st down, and the clock stopped to move the chains. The clock restarted, and the Oilers downed the ball with 10.9 seconds to play. Then the clock began running before the snap, and the ref stopped play to reset the clock to 10 seconds. Finally, it was Nino Barbosa taking the snap, running wide and cutting it back in for the touchdown. And with seconds remaining in the half, the Oilers have cut the lead to 2. So with 6 seconds to play, the Whiting Oilers will try for a pair. This time a bootleg by Nino Barbosa, and we're tied 14-14. And the Oiler kickoff is coming up. The Whiting kickoff was grabbed at the 20-yard line by Bryce Catherman, and on a nice run back, he carried inside Oiler territory as time ran out in the half. It's what we expected thus far from the Whiting Oilers and Wheeler Bearcats, and we're tied at 14. Back with second half action in 40 seconds.
Hello, my name is Dr. Tim Mullally.
And I'm Dr. Lisa Mullally.
We're the founding members of Indiana Sports and Medical Science Institute out of Crown Point, Indiana.
We offer both family practice services and sports medicine services. We see patients from age newborn all the way through geriatrics. If you're in need of a sports medicine physician or just a family doctor, give us a call today. We have same-day appointments. We hope to hear from you.
Oak Partners Wealth and Retirement Planning in Crown Point and Valparaiso. They provide comprehensive investment consulting services with the goal of increasing their clients' wealth and protecting their financial future. Tune into their radio program, Making Finance Personal, every Monday morning at 9 on WJOB. Russell Moritz will get things started here at Wheeler to open second half action with a kickoff that was fair caught by John Bach at the 35-yard line. And that's where the Oilers will open play offensively. On first down, it was Tom Davenport for a yard. It was back to Davenport, where he was lucky to pick up 2 yards on the play. This could be the most important defensive play of the game thus far for the Bearcats. If they can stop the Oilers on third down, they'll grab the momentum that Whiting took into the locker room in the first half when they tied the game with seconds to go. The ball was handed to Tom Davenport, and he was dragged down from behind by Nathan Leduc, and the Bearcats made the stop. But what happened next took a little wind out of the Wheeler Bearcat sails. The Tom Davenport punt was a good one and kicked further than the Wheeler deep men thought, and the ball was thought to be down by Dylan White. Then the Oiler bench got White's attention that the ball was still live. Finally, White was dropped at the 12-yard line, and the Whiting Oilers have grabbed the momentum back from the Wheeler Bearcats that quickly. Then on first and 10 from the 12-yard line, it was Nino Barbosa taking it wide where he was knocked out of bounds after a couple. Next, it was Barbosa with a handoff to Dylan White, and he's in for the touchdown. The two-point conversion was good when Barbosa handed the ball to Tom Davenport, and now the Oilers have opened up an 8-point lead. The Oiler kickoff was fielded at the 20-yard line by Bryce Catherman, and he carried to the 35, and the Wheeler Bearcats will see if they can turn this thing around. On first down, it was Nathan Leduc for 2. Next, it was Peyton Hinkle sweeping the right side for 6 yards before Christian Carroll made the stop. From the 43-yard line on 3rd and short, Bryce Catherman took the snap and carried to near the midfield stripe, and a 1st and 10 for the Bearcats at the 49. Then on 1st down, Bryce Catherman took the snap, rolled right, then lofted a pass intended for Bishop Palazzotto that was picked off by Oiler Nino Barbosa. Then following the play, a personal foul penalty on Whiting's Zach Williamson will move the ball back to the 15-yard line, and a 1st and 10 next up for the Oilers. On the 1st down snap, the more traditional Barbosa to Davenport handoff netted the big man 6 yards on the carry. Now from the 21 on 2nd and 4, it was another power run up the middle for Davenport, and a Whiting 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. But before the next snap, an encroachment penalty on the Bearcats will move the ball up 5 yards, and the visitors are now looking at a 1st and 5. Again, it was the Barbosa-Davenport combination, and a gain of about 2 yards on the carry. Then on 2nd and 3, it was Davenport up the middle again, and he carried to the 49, and another Whiting 1st and 10. Next, from near the midfield stripe, Dylan White got in on the action, and he carried for 4 yards before Jacob Strasbaugh made the tackle. On the 2nd and 6th snap, the ball slipped through Nino Barbosa's hands, but fortunately for the Oilers, Tom Davenport made the recovery, but a loss on the play back to the 37. Now the visitors are looking at a 3rd and long. This time it was a Barbosa pitch to Tom Davenport that was mishandled, and a Whiting punt next up. So with under 4 minutes to play in the 3rd, the Bearcats will get the ball back, trailing 22-14. But on the punt attempt, another Wheeler miscue when the catch was muffed again and recovered by Nino Barbosa, who has been all over the place on this evening. So now the Oilers are back in business, this time from the Bearcat 31. On 1st down, it was Davenport who took the snap, and he ran up the middle for about 5 yards on the carry. From the 26 on 2nd and 5, the same play, with Davenport carrying for 4 yards this time. Then on 3rd and 1 from the 22, it was Dylan White getting in on the action once again, and another Whiting 1st down at the 15-yard line. Before the snap, a Whiting penalty will move the ball back 5 yards, and now the Oilers are looking at a 1st and 15 from the 20-yard line. Then on the very next play, it was Nino Barbosa taking the snap, then running it in for a Whiting touchdown. So with 1:25 left in the 3rd period, the Whiting Oilers have taken a comfortable lead on the Wheeler Bearcats on 2 turnovers. The Oilers once again went for a 2-point conversion, not once but 3 times, and scored on each. The first 2 didn't count due to Whiting penalties, but it didn't matter because on the latter, it was a pass from quarterback Stephen Conley to Nino Barbosa, and now Whiting leads 30-14. The kickoff was grabbed cleanly this time by Bryce Catherman, and he carried to the 31, and that's where the Bearcats will try again offensively, and plenty of time to get back into this ballgame. On 1st down, it was Peyton Hinkle sweeping the left side. but he was dropped for a loss of 1 on the carry. But on second down, the lift the Bearcats needed when Bryce Catherman took the snap, hitting Bishop Palazzano for a big Wheeler first down inside Oiler territory at the 41-yard line. On first down, it was Nathan Leduc for a couple. But on the play, a Wheeler chop block penalty will move the ball back inside Bearcat territory to the 44. And now the home team is looking at a first and a bunch. On first and 25, a shot downfield was incomplete. Next, a short gainer by Bryce Catherman. And the quarter is over, with the Bearcats trailing the Oilers 30-14. Back in 20 seconds. J&J's Pizza Shack of Northwest Indiana has a variety of dinners and sandwiches on their menu to satisfy any appetite. But for the best pizza in the region, featuring the kitchen sink, it's J&J's Pizza Shack and their 7 Northwest Indiana locations. Check out their Hobart location and their new dine-in facility, and watch sports videos from New Concept Video Sport. The Bearcats opened fourth quarter action with a flare. On 3rd and 21, the ball was snapped to Bryce Catherman, who handed it to Peyton Hinkle. Then on the reverse to Jacob Strasbaugh, who then fired one up the far sidelines that found the hands of Bryce Catherman again. And now Wheeler is looking at a makeable 4th and 9 from the Whiting 40-yard line. Then on the next play, in what looked like a miscommunications on the part of the Bearcats, when Catherman dropped back and fired a pass downfield that was way overthrown and intercepted by Whiting Oiler star Nino Barbosa. And the Wheeler threat is over. So the Whiting Oilers will have a 1st and 10 just inside Bearcat territory at the 49. On first down, it was Tom Davenport for 2. Next, it was Davenport down to the 38 and a 1st and 10. Then it was Nino Barbosa's turn, down to the 31, and a 2nd and 3 next up. It was Barbosa again, making his way to the 8-yard line. And once again, the Oilers are back in the red zone and threatening. On 1st and goal, it was back to Tom Davenport, but he was dropped for no gain on the play by Jacob Strasbaugh. Then on 2nd and goal, and taking a lot of time off the clock, it was Dylan White who was handed the ball, and he's in for another Whiting score, and that was just too easy. The two-point conversion was no good this time. So with 8:25 left in this contest, the Oilers have increased their lead to 36-14. The kickoff was grabbed at the 36-yard line by Hunter Wright, and he picked up a yard before being swarmed by the Whiting special teams unit, and the Bearcats will be on offense, needing points badly. So on 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line and still working out of the Wildcat, the snap was mishandled, dropped, then picked up by Nathan Leduc, who saved the turnover, but lost yardage on the play. And now it'll be a 2nd and long from the 30-yard line. Next, another poor exchange and a loose ball that was covered up by Peyton Hinkle this time. And now the Bearcats are looking at a 3rd and about 19 from their own 38-yard line. Then on the reverse, Emiliano Rodriguez came through untouched and dropped Bryce Catherman for another loss. And finally, a Wheeler punt. The punt was a good one, rolling all the way down to the 11. And the Oilers will take over with 6:23 left in the game and time to run down the clock. On 1st down, it was Barbosa on the carry for 8 yards. Next, it was junior Christian Carroll running for another Whiting 1st down. On 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line, it was back to Davenport, and he picked up 7 on the carry. It was right back to Davenport, but he lost a yard this time on the carry. So now we're looking at a 3rd and 4 to move the chains for the Oilers. Again, it was Davenport, who only picked up 2 on the carry, leaving Whiting with a 4th and 2. If the Oilers convert, they can run out the clock. This time it was Davenport, and he picked up more than enough yardage needed to move the chain. Then following a few knees, this ball game is over. If it wasn't for a few key turnovers by the Bearcats, this game would have been much closer. We had 2 teams here tonight in Jeff Kane's Oilers and Adam Hudak's Bearcats, with each only carrying 5 seniors on their roster. So the best is yet to come. We would like to thank Athletic Director Randy Stelter and the entire Wheeler staff in attendance tonight for their hospitality. It was graciously appreciated. And until next time, for New Concept Video Sports, this is Bob Guerrero.